Greetings. Akwaba. To my Ivorian brothers and sisters. Ekabo. Saubona. Otutuoma. Indewo. Ekaro. Dasuba. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Mbote. Today my video is about Ivorians, Ivory Coast. Our future, the endless battle of hope. Now, when I look at here is what I've written, the keynotes, which I'm gonna say it and then I will explain things to you. Now, people have to notice that the southwest part of Ivory Coast, which is known as Côte d'Ivoire, supposed to be part of Ghana. So, due to the colonial Britain and colonial France, there was a separation. That's why the southwest Ivory Coast is no more part of Ghana. Now, people have to notice that Ivory Coast have diverse ethnic groups, and some ethnic groups which has their origin in Ghana. We have the Nzema, the Abron or Bonos. We have the Baoulé people who have Ashanti ancestry. Then we have minority Ghana ethnic group who became settlers in Ivory Coast. We have minority population of the Gadangbe, the Ewe, Fanti, which are a group of their kinds in Ivory Coast, minority. There are not many of them. And also, let's talk about this. People don't know this fact that our late president, Mills of Ghana, was an outspoken freedom fighter for Ivory Coast. He stands in peace and solidarity for Ivory Coast. So do former President Obasanjo stand in peace and solidarity with Ivorians during the civil wars of many years. And then I'm going to talk about Felix Houphouët-Boigny being a France puppet and him, having his ties with France and stripping our Ivorians of their privileges. And also, there's interesting topic I'm going to talk about. So, stay tuned to this, and I hope you guys enjoy this as well. Now, I want to say this. Ivory Coast is in West Africa. Now, Ivory Coast was not really Ivory Coast, but it was rather La Côte d'Ivoire. Now, how do the name Ivory Coast came about? And people don't really know how all this genesis of the name Ivory Coast came about. So, you all pay attention as I'm gonna dip into that. So, Ivory Coast is La Côte d'Ivoire. So, the reason why the name Ivory Coast came about, so the French name it Ivory Coast because they had mineral resources. They had ivories, they had gold, diamond, bauxite, manganese. Apart from in West Africa, when you take Ghana aside, if you talk about a cocoa hub, Ivory Coast has a cocoa hub. So the whole of West Africa, people who really produce cocoa is Ghana and Ivory Coast. Ghana and Ivory Coast is a separate West African nations. But as I said, the southwest of Ivory Coast is supposed to be part of Ghana. And this is due to their links with a kingdom in Ghana. With that kingdom cut ties with Ghana. And that kingdom came about through the rulership or through the leadership of Queen Abla Pokua, who was supposed to be a direct niece of Nana Kofi Osei Tutu, the first leader and founder of the Ashanti Kingdom. And he has his advisor, spiritual leader, which was Nanochi of the Ashanti Kingdom. Now, Ashanti Kingdom was founded around the 1700. Now, Ashanti simply means Asante. Asa in Twi means war or battle. Inti means because of. So simply, Ashanti means because of war. Asante is not Answanti or whatever some people are claiming to be what the word is. Now people have to understand that Ashanti, if Ashanti was not to regarded as a kingdom, Ashanti would have been a nation, because you cannot Ashanti kingdom or Ashanti nation doesn't extend only to Ashanti region. You have people in places in Uti known as rural people, other tribal people who have ancestral lineage or ties with Ashanti people. You talk about the Baule, who have ancestral ties with the Ashantis. You talk about Mbatu, Mbetu, which is Magbetu, if I pronounce their name right. It's spelled Mgbato, or people call them Mbatu. They have ancestral ties with Ashanti people and the dangerous. So you have to understand that before Ashanti Kingdom became a kingdom, Ashanti was under the rulership or the leadership, or were under the kingdom of Denchira. Now Denchira, back then in Gold Coast, present-day Ghana, was one of the Akan strongest kingdom or empire. Now the Denchira were defeated in the battle known as Battle of Feyasi, if I pronounce the word right. So this was a war between the Ashantis and the Denchiras. Now Denchira, they were formerly known as the Adawu people. Now the reason why they became Denchira is when they were migrating on their way from the Sahel regions, the Denchira, some also part ways from Nubia in Egypt before they settled in present-day Chira. Now Denchira simply means Adani Enchira. Adani Enchira became corrupted as Denchira. That's so when the Adawu people, which are known as the Denchira people, came to settle in a place in Bron region known as Enchira, they became accustomed or became part or integrate into the Enchira way of life, custom, culture, tradition. So as a way of recognizing them becoming part of the Chira place or the Chira people, they were known as Denchira, which the actual meaning is Adaninchira for, Adaninchira, and the Westernizer corrupted it, or the European changed the phrase to Adaninchira became Denchira. The European's name is Denchira instead of it being Adaninchira. And Adaninchira was a name given as an appreciation. But as I said, formerly the name was Adawu, and they are the main head of the Agona family clan among the Akan people. Now people ask me, what is the relation, what has this got to do with Ivory Coast? So back to the Ivorian topic. Ivory Coast, as I said, is a separate West African nation when it comes with Ghana. But even though Ghana kind of have vibe and strong ties to Nigeria, the way we vibe together, Nigerians and Ghana, but at the same time, too, people have to understand that when it comes to culturally, the Ivorians have strong and deep connection with us, because Ivorians people, they are kind people in Ivory Coast. They are meaning the Mbato and the rest, the Evalue and the rest. They are cousins to the Akan people, and they trace to one root to Ghana among the Akan people. So the Akan people in Ivory Coast and Akan people of Ghana, they are siblings. And as I said, Akan is the second largest ethnic group in Ivory Coast. Ivory Coast have a lot of ethnic groups. We have Bete and other ethnic group in Ivory Coast. There are a lot of them. Ivory Coast is very diverse. Now, back then, before Ivory Coast capital became Abidjan, back then Yamoussoukro was the capital of Ivory Coast back then. And Yamoussoukro is in an Akan founding town. I'm not making this video about tribe issue, but I want you to understand how close Ivory Coast is to Ghana. Ghana being a hub when it comes to cocoa in Africa, West Africa, Ivory Coast also same thing. But the difference is, apart from that, Ghana was colonized by the British and Ivory Coast was colonized by France. So Ivory Coast is a very beautiful nation, and one thing when it comes to Ivory Coast, their symbol is the elephant. That's their symbol. And Ghana's symbol is the eagle. So I end my video here, and I want people to understand this is that whether Ghanaian, whether Ivorian, or whatever African country you come from, we are all one people. So yeah, Ghana is a sibling or cousin to Ivory Coast, culturally and in many ways. So yes, I end my video here. And also, apart from that, let me dive into this. Now, the solidarity issue. Ghanaians will play MPP and NDC 10, but you cannot hide the truth. President Mills, he had a short year in office, but he tries much best to help Ghana. It's Ghanaians who are ungrateful, who don't appreciate Mills. One thing about Ghanaians, whatever political party that might come in, they're still going to complain about the same very thing. Is it true that Ghanaians are ungrateful? To some extent they are. But at the same attempt, you have to understand that people play political games. Political BS cause they pull. Same thing with Kwame Nkrumah. You have some Ghanaians who said Kwame Nkrumah didn't do anything. Kwame Nkrumah was selling Ghana and making money to fund Guinea's freedom. What kind of delusional mindset is this? Ghanaians love propaganda, and it's hard time Ghanaians change. Not only Ghanaians, only Africans in general. Apart from that too, President Mills did many things people don't realize. And when it comes to the African continent, Mills contributed to peace coming to Ivory Coast and the war coming to an end. Civil war for many years, which deliberately France had their hands in that civil wars. You have former President Obasanjo. Even though I don't like Obasanjo, many things he does, but one thing I would admire Obasanjo is for having that African values and believing in Africa brotherhood, sisterhood, and standing with Ivory Coast during the time of war. Now you have Felix Boahin, who was a puppet and have alliance with France. Strip Ivory Coast of their privileges, feeding into France and giving France whatever they need. Now, we cannot talk about Ivory Coast and not talk about the Jama, the Jama, which is spelled Jyaman, the Jama Empire or the Jama Kingdom. And due to the German Kingdom, we have the Adinkra symbols was created. Now the Adinkra symbols, we have the Sankofa and a lot of the symbols. Sankofa, Jinyame, the list is many. You have a lot of the Adinkra symbols. And each Adinkra symbols has meaning. We have some Adinkra symbols that symbolize blood is thicker than water. It says that, it also relates that blood is heavy, which is Moja Yidru. We also have many Adinkra symbols that symbolize resilience, African resilience, and a lot of them. So I'm going to end my video here and thank you very much. This is what I'm going to do this is what I want to share with you about Ivory Coast. I also want to tell you that Ivory Coast, our future, the endless battle of hope. I want to tell Ivorians that for many years of negativity, many years of civil war, many years of France intervention, and France trying to intrude into Ivory Coast, trying to come as they want to intervene for Ivorians and be there for them, France was no good. France was a colonial administration, blood-sucking colonial administration. That's why France, they never ran out of the game. Now they are tied with Francophone Africa and they are going to Anglophone Africa. And recently you have Macron being over Ruto. Macron saying that he loves Africa and he's a true Pan-Africanist, which is all the algorithms and, you know, feel good messages that they lie to African people so they can buy into it. Ivory Coast can rise again. Ivory Coast can stand on their feet. And we have President Ouattara, President Ousmane Ouattara, still winning election again. And Ouattara is same as Paul Biya and corrupt African leaders. Ouattara is a basically sellout, and he dines with the colonizer. It's hard time Ivory Coast come to reality. For Ivory Coast to put an end to the endless battle of hope, they need to elect a leader who's for the Ivorian people, who love Ivory Coast to the core, who wants Ivorian unity, and who wants to develop Ivory Coast. Ivory Coast, this is a reminder. Love yourself. Every Ivorian, every Ivory person from Ivory Coast or La Côte d'Ivoire, my message is, no matter how Ivory Coast is, come back home, invest in Ivory Coast, build Ivory Coast. Ivory Coast or La Côte d'Ivoire cannot reach its greatest, highest level without Ivorian native and Ivorian descent and people of Ivorian ancestry, which was due to transatlantic slave trade. So those who were captured, whose ancestors were captured and enslaved, and they have roots in Ivory Coast. It's for you knowing the truth and you have the funds, please try as much to set up a program in Ivory Coast, invest to Ivory Coast. And many Ivorian youth who are speaking the truth against injustice and against system that is used to cripple or to strip Ivorians of their privilege, continue to speak the truth. Ivory Coast will rise again. So will Africa rise again. Subscribe to my channel. It's all love. I'm not bringing division among African people. I am an African comrade, an ambassador of African love and African unity. I'll continue to speak the truth. My name again is Reggie Kwabena Deschamps-Mills. I am a Ghanaian, Sierra Leonean activist, liberator, and a person who's a ride and die, and a lover, firm belief practitioner and lover of African unity and African development. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Peace out. One love, one people, one vision. I'm out.